Whoa, we're back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and it's time to get into a little showcase video with B1 Grimmjow. And I'm pretty stoked on this because Grimmjow is obviously our first half Annie character, so it says a lot about how his performance shakes up. I have thought that his performance has been, you know, very serviceable, very worthy of the half anniversary label, without completely, power creeping the game. I mean, not to get off topic here, and this is not like meant to shade Legends or anything, but with how divisive the core mechanics of Legends Broly has been for their anniversary, it's kind of nice whenever you just get a game that's like, here's like a fun unit, but here's not a unit that's going to make it so that you're like, tap stalling and drifting and laming out the game because you're trying to get this transformation, and there's just these mechanics. All 10 million right off the top there, by the way. So yeah, I don't know, it's we are becoming smoother with our rotations, just to shift out of that discussion, but we're getting smoother with our rotations. You're definitely seeing the fruit of just playing with the character more and more. It's becoming more second nature. I'm getting into my Yuri very confidently now. I did miss, here's the one I missed. I should have used that and then dipped out. We didn't use his technique here. Probably should go ahead and snag that at some point, hopefully after this rotation. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to battlefield skill here. Makes sense. I mean, we've got a Soy Phone ult coming up and a break on the way. But yeah, it's just to say that I really do like where Grimmjow is. I don't really want him to have been anywhere else either. I know that, I guess, not having I don't know. I mean, people are a little, I guess, Stockholm syndromed by the state of mobile games, and we do switch out there to grab an ult on the switch in, which gets us nearly, 15.9 million. We're gonna call that 16 million on an ultimate. Pretty nice, pretty juicy for a B1 character. But yeah, I think people are a little Stockholm syndromed by the mobile just landscape, which is to say that the moment a character comes out, they have to be head and shoulders above everything else. No dupes, no anything, or they're not worth releasing, which I really do. As I play more Grimmjow, as I have Grimmjow for longer and longer, I do think that he sort of operates in a superior model. And you can see that we're up to 129 million. Turning off the heater for a moment. I don't know if you can hear that, but leaned over to turn off the heater. We're really racking up the damage, 131 million, and it's smooth. It's smooth as hell, right? The rotations are becoming smooth, and I think he's as strong as I need him to be. Descadon looks great, by the way. This ult looks so good. We get a 13 million there, so 13 million without a break. Pretty juicy. We must have had extra stacks up or something, because the break would have added more than 15 million or 2 million, right? So that's a pretty juiced round of buffs there. And we are just nailing, rattling away at this guy, nearly at 200 million total damage, and with still 50 seconds to go. So yeah, I think we have a little idle time there with Mayuri as we wait for his skill, but I didn't want to switch out. I think it's a waste. And again, we're just back at it. 189 million now, about to be 200 million, still 40 seconds to go. This character is just shredding. We have a little bit of time left. I decided to go into a dodge and ultimate. That way I switch out on this. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. I was kind of like, my rotations got a little too fast. I feel like I had nothing to do there. But we should be going into a Soifon here. She's waiting, right? Yeah, waiting in the wings. 30 seconds to go, about to get a break with all of our ultimates up is going to be pretty dire. So 9 million there. We should have definitely done more. That might not have been a crit. I couldn't tell, but I'm pretty sure that damage should have been more, and that might ultimately be why we don't end up getting the damage number I'm looking for. I won't spoil it for you guys, but it's pretty fucking big. Pretty reasonable. This is shy of having a team like Thrust, which has just so much synergy. Regardless of how good Grimmjow is, it should be said that this is still a team game. This is not a single player, you know, every character exists in a vacuum. Almost 16 million again, by the way. Every character exists in a vacuum game. So just to go out and say like, oh, I think the Strike team is the best now because they have Grimmjow, is like, it's really hard to compete still as a free-to-play player with Thrust just being so synergistic. But I do think they are good, and we're rounding out to the end of the fight here, and you can see so close to 300 million total DPS, but that 9 million damage ult by Soifon is going to end up being the nail in the coffin, weirdly enough. Could you actually believe it? Could you believe that that tiny bit of damage ends up being the thing that keeps us from actually so close. And there we have our run, 2.47 million DPS. Of course, I do like to do the run in its entirely so we can see the total damage. You know, total damage is pretty flashy. We like seeing it here. Almost got it to 2.5. Probably could have got it to 300 million. Maybe missed a crit at the start with Soifon or something. But I do think that's a pretty good rollover. We had some like large damage numbers on the actual Descaron and things like that. So I do think he looked very impressive. I mean, this is ultimately all about, you know, appealing to Grimmjow. So let's just get out of there because, you know, we see the damage. You see the drip. You see the damage. You can see all the buffs up there, by the way. And let's go to a little spot of luck I've had recently. So I actually posted this on Twitter. And by the way, if you wanted to follow me on Twitter, I am Club vs Lone. Or am I Club V Lone on Twitter? I'm gonna go check real quick. I'm Club V Lone on Twitter. So, you know, same as the YouTube, but all that's to say, we got 2 Mayuri stamps in 1 weekly. So I've continued to do the thing, and I talked about this before, where if I have over 50 stamps, which we've got a lot of stamps during this celebration, and I just really, I mean, I missed on Zealapado, if you guys remember. I just missed. I didn't get his. So I started saving. I said I need to save because half anniversary is coming up and I want to be able to show Grimmjow at his proper power. So every time I get more than 50, I just use it on dupes, essentially. And I'll just gonna save 50 so that whenever a character comes out, I always get to try at least to get them day 1, you know, if I get lucky. But yeah, here's Mayuri, and he's now at Ascension 5, which means the crit damage granted by Terror is additionally increased by 160%. That as well goes alongside a Soifon, who now gets 187.5% crit damage on her core stamp, because I picked up a core stamp for her. And I don't even remember if I posted this before. Maybe I posted this on Twitter before that. But I had a lucky streak on core stamps in the previous week, because I got a B2, or I guess like an Awakening 2, Pantera's Shadow, right? So we've got a little bit more juice on the crit damage and the ailment damage and so on, as well as each hunting point increases the skills damage by 62.5%. So pretty good in terms of like racking up some very useful like bonus stats there. Other than that, also it makes our power look good, right? He's now at 40,000. Mayuri's now 43,000, and someone like Soifon is around like 41,000. So it makes the account look pretty good, right? It makes the account look good. One thing I do want to say is that Grimmjow's actual like stamps have largely gone unchanged. I mean, I have been farming. He has been the object of my farming, right? We can see that it's still ult charge, crit rate, attack here. It's still crit damage, ailment, crit rate here. This piece could be much better by having a little bit of attack percent, maybe some ult cooldown. And this one is, I mean, this one's pretty optimal. Ailment damage there, I mean, ailment damage could be replaced for attack percent, we know that. But that one's really hard to swap out, right? That's a hard one to sell. There's not many ways I'm going to be able to replace that third piece without getting extremely lucky. We can look at the stats there. We can also look at the stats here for Soifon, of course. Remember that she is going up quite a bit in her crit rate. She's getting 20% from... Is it 20% or is it 30% from her passive? It might be 30% from her passive. She's also getting the 15% here. What is it again? It can stack up to 3 times. So she is getting 30% on passive. But I mean, you could say that averagely she's getting like about 20%. So She goes up quite a bit when she gets that procced, about 80% crit rate. Then we've got my Yuri, of course, who has not changed since the day I got him, essentially, with the ult charge 260%, a bit of ailment damage, and not so much else. His gear was very nice to make, I'm not gonna lie, because it was just very easy as a consequence of him mostly just being a support, like the support merchant, right? So man, what a team. My Yuri, I hate to say it, I felt stronger and stronger about him being kind of the most important character for a free-to-play B0 to B2 account. He goes on, let's see, arguably before, even after White Ichigo gets here, because he's better than Yorihara if you have Kenpachi, who applies ailments, right? So he goes on 3 out of the 4 teams possible right now as like our big ones as the optimal. I mean, this character's kind of crazy. So I'm going to continue to just say that I think my Yuri, if you're a B0, B2 player, is like the best character in the game, because you don't actually need these, and he's just completely insane. But yeah, that, I mean, not to hype up my Yuri so much during the Grimmjow B1 showcase, but yeah, that was B1. We were able to keep the killing intent at 10 stacks the entire fight, I want to say. There was no time where, I mean, can you guys remember where I had to restack it up? I don't think so. We were just doing quick pounces, so our rotation's definitely getting tighter. I think if we could just tighten a little bit more, a smidge more, we could reach that 300 million, but at, what was it in total? It was, oh, was it a 2.4 million or 4.4? It's something. 2.4 million, I think. 2.4 million DPS. Not too shabby considering no dupe 5 core stamp. Still definitely have pieces I can get extra attack percent on. This could have crit damage, for instance. This could definitely have attack percent, and this could definitely have attack percent. So still lagging behind on that 4th slot or 4th stat gear piece. And yeah, that's Grimmjow. Really happy with his performance. I think the character's great. I continue to think the character's great. I thought he was great at B0. I think he's fantastic at B1. And with 17,000 Jade here, possibly going into, 10 days away from White Ichigo or Olkieto, whichever one they do first. Possibly grabbing a B1 of them as well, if I can hopefully get a little bit lucky. I probably need a little bit luck, but definitely not regretting the B1 choice. Strong character. Like if you like the video, subscribe, join the club. We all go make it, and peace.